Today, I'm going to be speaking about 7 habits that have led me to have a stress-free productivity. Let's get started. Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Praveen Ramesh, and on this channel I speak about non-fiction books, and I also speak about lessons that I'm personally learning and the failures that I'm going through and the things that I'm doing to manage being a creator, having a full-time job, and doing all the personal things that I do. Right, so as I said at the start, today we're going to be speaking about 7 tips that have helped me kind of see productivity from a slightly stress-free angle. But just a quick disclaimer before we get started. I'm not a mental health expert, or I'm not like someone who knows the in and out or the signs of stress and all the mental health issues that come with being overworked. But these are purely from my anecdotal experiences of things that I have done to ensure that I'm not getting overworked, or I'm not constantly feeling that I'm being left behind by the world. Right. So with that disclaimer, so let's get started with the first step. So have a write-off day. So that's my first step. So having a write-off day is akin to you having a cheat day when you're on your fitness journey, right? So as someone who's got started with a lot of habit, have had my fair shares of mistakes and failures with habits, what I've kind of come to realize is the fact that we keep going on with habits thinking that I need to keep doing this for long enough, and every time we make that decision, some amount of willpower battery in our head keeps coming down, right? Because every time you decide that, okay, I need to work out instead of sleeping in, I need to eat a salad instead of me having a junk food, or every time you keep thinking that instead of scrolling social media I could meditate and all those kind of things, you keep making a lot of decisions in your head, and you're bound to hit a fatigue if you're someone who's just getting started with a lot of these habits. So having a write-off day kind of mentally tells me that I'm not going to do any of the stuff that I regularly do for one weekend. So that's something that I started following from the last month. In fact, the whole of August, I told myself that I'm not going to read anything. I'm not going to kind of produce any videos while I continue to work out and eat right. So by doing that, I allowed myself to explore a lot more new opportunities. I started writing on my blog and all those kind of things, and new ideas started coming. And now I have a rejuvenated and an updated schedule of how I want to produce my YouTube videos, what I want to be speaking, and all those kind of things. So having a write-off day once every month or once every quarter to reset and recharge is a great idea if you're someone who's constantly juggling between a lot of things. So that's my first step. Second one, have time to waste time. Right, so this has been a game changer since I had this very strict rule of no social media, or not using any social media apps. In spite of being a creator, a lot of my friends, as I've told in my previous video, have kind of nudged me to start publicizing my blogs, publicizing my blogs in the last 1 month, and start publicizing my videos. But I realized that I had this constant fear that I'm gonna end up doom scrolling, which is a problem that I had probably last year, where I spent like anywhere between 5 to 7 hours on my phone. So what I've started doing now is having 2 hours in a day where I dedicate to just doom scrolling and browse channels, tweets, threads, see Instagram posts that are not related to anything that I do. So I just do them to have fun. What I realized is a lot of times we tend to fall back to our bad habits because we keep thinking that, hey, the easiest way to retain good habits is to not do any of those, and in that process we get kind of burnt out, or we always when we test out a small thing, or when we slightly go off the lane, we totally get deviated. So having these micro distractions every day in a scheduled way has kind of helped me to ensure that I balance out all the distractions that I need, yet keeping up with whatever I want to be doing. That's the second one. Third thing is something that's very, very dear to me and slightly more personal, because is stop comparing yourself to others. This is the easiest fall to trap into from a productivity front, right? And I'll tell you with a quick story on how this happened to me. A lot of times, or there were a lot of YouTubers or content creators who started with me, probably a year and a half back, and who have kind of skyrocketed in terms of their growth, in terms of how they publicize themselves, how awesomely they write, how good their videos are, and things like that. And naturally, as a human, I started comparing myself to them. And this is one bucket of comparison of people who started with you. And obviously I also keep comparing myself to people who are way above my league, right? So I keep thinking, oh, how is this person having 1 million subscribers? How is this person having 100,000 subscribers? How is this person writing so well? And I keep comparing myself to them, and I end up feeling demotivated, and I realize that comparing myself to others doesn't do any good, right? Primarily for one reason, because my journey and what I do is completely different from how they operate, right? Maybe they are going through their own struggles, but what I see on social media and what I see of them is what they put out, and usually creators just put out the best part of their lives. But what I don't realize is the amount of work that they go through, the amount of money they spend to outsource things, the amount of time that they dedicate and things like that. Because I probably dedicate just 1-2 hours, or there are people who obsess over creating these videos, ensuring that the edits are really good and things like that. So comparing yourself to others' journey is the easiest way to ensure that you're not productive, and you're easily very demotivated, because you're just comparing the outcomes, but you're not comparing the journeys that both of you are going through. So stop comparing, because it clearly hampers your productivity. That was one of the reasons why I kind of hit a roadblock the last time I took a break. Fourth one, be prepared to be bombarded. As I said at the start, the antidote to productivity is chaos, right? At times, a lot of us get so attached to these routines that we don't want to invite any chaos to our life. But as someone who's just being a part-time creator, who's creating videos to share the insights and values that valuable lessons that are adding values to my life, what I end up doing is I become too strict on not doing anything else. For example, I said no to a lot of social engagements. I didn't spend time with my family and a lot of those things. But the sooner I realize that, hey, I am someone who's going to have a lot more people, because I like hanging out with people, I enjoy doing that. If I'm not like kind of dedicating their time or accounting for that chaos, I'm constantly going to be dissatisfied, because if I'm producing enough videos, I'm constantly going to be thinking, maybe I could have been in that social engagement. Or if I'm in that social engagement, I would end up thinking, shit, I could have produced some videos or blogs and whatever. So I've kind of started visualizing or planning ahead about, hey, what are the social events that are coming up? What are the other, what are the other things that are coming up in the next month? And I schedule videos accordingly. So I still stick to producing videos, but not to the schedule that I wanted to. So I move up and down from 2 videos a week to 1 videos a week and things like that, because I am the best judge of what my life is. And if I'm going to beat myself up over, not sticking to a routine, I feel I'm just going down that negative trap and not producing anything at all. The 6th one, brain dumping. This has been a life changer. This is akin to kind of journaling for me, where I felt whenever I'm kind of overwhelmed with the thoughts, when I have like multiple projects going, or when I have like a lot of things that are hanging around in the balance, I just sit down and start writing mindlessly, right? So I just keep writing to a point where my mind is completely empty. Either I finish those journal with some action points, or there are times where I just keep writing, and I've ended up writing like 3,000, 4,000 words when I'm really overwhelmed. And then I feel like, okay, you know what, I have some clarity, all the junk in my mind, all the monkey stuff that my mind is telling me is out of the system. Now I can really focus on what I want to do. Is my current action aligned to my long-term goal? When I get to that point is when I stop writing. So there are days or weekends where I've written for 1 hour, 1.5 hours without hitting a backspace. So brain dumping has been a life changer for me. The 7th and the final tip is the choice to be happy. Right, this is something that I discovered very recently, because let's say you make some time, you have a perfect routine to get things done, and you have a lot of free time in the evening. Inevitably you will be dumped with a lot of work, or inevitably you will want to do something because you feel too uncomfortable not doing anything, or you feel too uncomfortable not doing anything productive, or you feel too uncomfortable not doing anything that's adding value to your life. But what I realized is, the more efficient you get at doing things, the more work keeps coming to you, and the more unhappy you keep becoming. So what I've told myself is, hey, it's okay if I'm being efficient. I'm not going to add more work to my time, my bandwidth, just because I have more time. If I realize that I'm having a lot of free time in the evening, I'd rather just continue being, or utilizing that free time to just do things that I love, probably watch a Netflix series, or scroll through YouTube, or do whatever, rather than just thinking, oh my god, okay, am I spending it in a useful manner? So those are my 7 tips to ensure that I have a productivity that's not constantly bogging me down. So just to summarize, having a write off week or a weekend, have schedule time to waste some time, stop comparing yourself to others, be prepared to be bombarded, and brain dumping, and the choice to be happy. So I just realized that I said 6. So the 7th one is outsource things where possible. I think this is one of my favorite productivity tips. This is something that I've learned, and I've covered this across various videos of mine. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. Do let me know if you would like to add anything, or if you find any of those tips that I told to be very useful. Until I see you in the next video, this is Praveen Ramesh signing off.